or something that you try to relay to the players, like this week, you're really going to focus in on not making 15-yard penalties or whatever? Or is it, hey, we're going to get better 1% every day? Do you have a different theme every week?
I wouldn't necessarily say theme. I would say if there's something we're not doing well, we talk about improvements that we have to make. And then there's always certainly something from the opposing team that we have to focus on, so there's each week's a separate entity. Each game's a separate entity. But when we meet to start the week, we talk about here's the things that we feel like we need to improve upon. And then, hey, here's the keys to this game. We have a plan to win and things like that we believe in, but here's the specific things that this team does that we have to take away or limit or negotiate in some way.
All right, let's go to Skylar and then Joe Person.
Hey, Matt, you guys are, I believe, 7th in the league through the first 4 games in pass defense. Just what have you seen that is attributed to that? Is it much to do with the front 7 as well, kind of complementing those guys in the back end?
Well, I think two things about statistics: A, that they're always a group effort. They're whether they're good or bad, they're emblematic of everyone, and they never really tell the full story, right? So, I always use statistics to go back and find areas that we need to research, but then try to look at the tape. I think 7th in passing. I think we're 1st in yards per completion, but we're giving up a lot of completions, and again, I think that has been our approach to play things top down, make people throw the ball in front of us. We've broken up when we've tackled well. We've played good defense. When we haven't tackled well, we haven't played great defense. So, we're trying to improve upon some of those different areas. As we've gotten pressure, and we don't have a ton of sacks, but as we've gotten pressure, obviously it speeds up the process for the opposing quarterback and allows us, a little bit quicker burst to get up and tackle guys when they catch the ball.
Hey, Matt, 2 things. Did Eli Apple have a setback, and is it something that might put him back on IR? And then secondly, do you know when the Rodney Smith transaction will finalize?
I'm not sure about Rodney Smith. I'm not sure. When you say transaction will finalize, what does that mean?
Well, I guess you guys had him in for a visit and the COVID test. And, hearing that he's going to sign, I guess it's a longer process now with the new protocol.
Yeah, I mean, we're following the protocols. I'm not sure what the protocol. I think it's 5 days now. I think that you guys have to test. So, our personnel people will handle those things. In terms of the first question you asked me, Joe, again was what? Now I'm sorry.
Eli.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, Eli. Eli pulled his other hamstring, I believe, in the game. So it's not necessarily a setback on that hamstring, but an issue on the other hamstring. I'm saying that right after practice. I don't have all that stuff in front of me, so I could be wrong. But Eli has an injured hamstring that he's trying to heal.
Let's go to Phil Orban and then Elena Getzenberg.
Hey, man, if we could stay with more stats that maybe don't necessarily tell the full picture. You guys have been really good at not allowing the chunk plays, which was kind of an issue last year with this defense. I'm wondering, when you say keep everything in front of you and tackle, was that always something that you knew you would want to focus on and not allowing those big runs and passes as a defense?
Yeah, and I'm talking mainly in zone coverages. I think wanting to play things deep to short as a base philosophy. When teams start with the ball on their own side of the 50, the stats for whether you have a 20-yard play or not, the numbers of touchdowns is staggering. I mean, you need a 20-yard play for the most part to go score. So we're trying to always eliminate explosive plays. There's a bunch of research about it. We've always on offense, one of our goals is to create explosive plays, and on defense, negate explosive plays. So that's part of it. A lot of those happen in the passing game. They usually happen for, missed assignments, which we think we can control, missed tackles, or ball thrown over our head, which, if we play good coverage and have good eyes, we try to eliminate those. In the run game, to me, it's being gaps down and it's running plays down. Last week, a ball split. It was an explosive play. Our guys did a great job though to run the quarterback in that case down and get him down and play the next play. So we want to eliminate explosive plays, but we certainly want to eliminate explosive home run type touchdown plays. And so it starts with discipline and technique and all the football things, but then it finishes with effort. But I think in this league, if you can eliminate explosive plays and you can create turnovers, you'll always have a chance to play great defense.
Hey, Matt, I just wanted to follow up on Eli. Obviously, I know no one wants injuries or anything like that, but I guess just what's any frustration there on him just not being able to get healthy? And then are you ruling him out for Sunday or not there yet?
Yeah, I don't do things on Thursday. I don't get frustrated with players. When you're, I get frustrated at lack of effort, but you have injuries. I feel bad for players because I know I see the guys coming in at 6:30 in the morning. I see guys working hard to play. I see the anxiety for players as they're trying to get healthy. I see the effort that they give, and so I never get frustrated. I feel for them. I'm frustrated for them, but not never frustrated at them. Eli's a talented player. He's had some medical things so far this year. It's still early in the season. We're going to try to get him healthy, and whenever they say he can go, he can go. But certainly nothing but appreciation for him for he's working hard to come back. He tried to come back last week, and then had yet another thing happen to him. But he was out there and he was competing for his team, and that's what's important to me.
And if I could just ask one more question, just getting Russell. Obviously, he's practiced the last 2 days. Just what's excitement for getting Russell back out there likely on Sunday?
Well, I'm hopeful that Russell can go. We won't put him out there till he feels ready. And so we'll wait to see when he feels, like, hey, he can really go. So if he's ready to go, great. And if not, we feel really good about our situation with Greg and with Trent and Dennis being back practicing now. So, Russell's been a starter. He's been an all-pro caliber player. He played really well the first 2 games. If he can go, I'd be really excited for him. He's a really integral part of the team and the fabric of the team. But if not, then we'll put the young guys out there and expect that they'll play really well. They've also practiced well this week.
All right, let's go to Miles Simmons and then David Newton.
And Matt, what do you think has made Matt Ryan so effective as a quarterback for so long?
He's just an elite talent, going all the way back to, Boston College, going all the way back to Penn Charter. He's got a great arm. He's unbelievably smart, great timing. This year he's moving the ball with his feet, and I'm not saying that like this year only. I'm saying from what I've watched this year. I obviously didn't play against him last year. He's got all the skills and tools. He's got the mental wherewithal to get them in the right play all the time, right protection. He's got great weapons around him. When you look at a team that's got, Ridley and Jones and, Todd Gurley and Gale. They've got so many good players. So, he's just really, really talented and also really, really smart and a great competitor.
Hey, Matt, David here. You talk about analytics. What analytic you think best defines how this team's improved?
In terms of statistic or all those things? That's a great question. I think I think on offense probably our second and third down efficiency. We're really good in those 2 areas. We have to get better on first down, but our ability to throw the ball and move the chains has led to some really, really long drives. We don't have a lot of short, easy drives. We're having some really, really long drives. And then, defensively, I think, as was said earlier, just the lack of explosive plays. When people score on us, they're earning it. We don't have a lot of easy outs, we make people earn it. And if we can just get a little bit better on defense in the red zone, I think it'd be a big jump. I think, people are moving the ball into the red zone 42% of the time against us. I think that's 11th in the league. Once in the red zone, though, they're scoring too much. So just like last week, a big feature was our red zone offense this week. We have to improve our red zone defense. But I would say it's just the lack of big plays that we've given up. And that'll be really important this week versus Atlanta, a team that can strike, both on the ground and in the air. Their ability to run the football and then play action pass makes them really hard to defend. And, you put it on your coaches then to say, hey, do we play run defense? We play pass defense. And what we'll have to do is just eliminate big plays. If we do that, then we'll have a chance to play good defense.
Let's go to Chris Jenkins for the next question.
Hey, Coach, when it comes to success between a quarterback and a wide receiver, how much of it would you say is chemistry versus just that wide receiver getting open? And then kind of building on that question, how would you as a coach define that chemistry that quarterbacks and wide receivers can have?
I think that word chemistry really comes down to really two things. Number one is timing. When they've repped together and worked together, and they know, like, hey, I'm going to throw the ball before you hit your break. They have timing, and that's really what the passing game is about. At least for us, we're a timing-based passing offense. We're not like a, hey, get open and I'll throw it to you. We work through progressions, and a lot of that's based on timing and the synchronization of everyone. So I think you have to have tremendous timing, and then you have to have trust. The quarterback has to trust that if he throws the ball before you break, that you're going to be exactly where you're supposed to be. That if he gets zero blitz, that he can turn and throw the ball to you, and you're going to go be where you're supposed to be and make the play that you're supposed to make. And so I think that idea of chemistry really comes down to timing, and then the trust that's built off of that. And obviously those things are amplified when you have guys that like being around each other, that stick around after practice, that throw the ball together more, that watch tape together. All those things build into that. But if it's not built on the fundamental of elite timing and the trust that comes off that, it's all for naught.
Let's go to Joe Person and then Jason Huber.
Matt, I know you didn't get to Temple, I think, until after Matt had left Penn Charter and gone to Boston College, but didn't know if your paths had crossed with him at all, either in Philly circles or otherwise.
No, I've never crossed paths with Matt. Mike Saravo, who's our linebackers coach, was on the staff at Boston College when Matt was there, and so I know he has Mike has a lot of great things to say about Matt during their time, and they won a lot of games at Boston College. They won championships when he was there, so I've heard stories about him through Mike, but I've never had a chance to meet him.
Hey, Matt, with a team like the Falcons, who, even though they're 0-4, they have, a lot of talent on the team. What kind of makes a team that, this morning, Coach Dan Quinn kind of mentioned that they're trying to put away that frustration and have that determination. So what makes a team that isn't, I guess, quote unquote, desperation mode like them right now so dangerous? And how do you make sure that your guys, I guess, have more of a desperation mode than them?
I really believe that our focus is always just on us. We're sitting here this week. We have this unbelievable opportunity to go play professional football and go on the road and play. And if our coaching staff, if our players, if our staff isn't excited and like exhilarated at the opportunity to go play, then we're in the wrong business. And so I think part of our mentality is to be really honest with ourselves and look at the last game and say, hey, are we a good football team yet? Are we the team that we want to be? And the answer is no. So trying to get better at that. So I think it's all about us. We want to enter every game with humble confidence, and that's, we want to be confident to go play, but we want to enter it with the humility to prepare at the highest of levels. And so I don't think there's anything about us that's not working our tail off just to go 1-0 this week. And nothing that'll happen the rest of the season affects this game. Nothing that's happened before affects this game. It really all comes down to whichever team plays best on Sunday. And the best way to play well on Sunday is to, prepare and practice and train and do all those things this week. So we have the utmost confidence in ourselves, and we have the utmost respect for our opponent. So it's going to be an absolute battle. It'll be a physical, mental, draining, 4-quarter battle. And, the only thing we can control is us and our mindset. So we don't think about, at least I don't think about anyone else. I just think about us. And, I'm hopeful that we'll go out and be the team that, we want to be.
All right, we have time for a couple more guys. Let's go to Jonathan Alexander and then Miles Simmons.
Hey, Matt, hope you're doing well. I just have a quick question for you. From the time that, you worked with Phil Snow at UCLA 2001 to the time that you hired him as your DC, did you keep in contact with him a lot in between those years?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I called him, and obviously Phil's a lot older than me. I really socialized, but I would call him a lot as I was making decisions and coaching and going through life. And he like, as I said the other day, he was a mentor to me. So I would talk to him about the different things that I was doing. And, so yeah, I would stay in touch with him. I think I went out and visited him once when he was at the Lions. I went out and visited them on defense, and I think I saw him. He came to one of our Temple games when we played. I think we played Eastern Michigan or someone, and I saw him at the game.
Matt, you mentioned that you're getting a lot of long drives, long sustained drives. How much is Teddy Bridgewater's command help in making sure that you guys can stay on the field and convert those third downs, things like that?
I'd say it's 90% of it, and I don't mean to take that away from the other players. I think they would all say it to you. You don't see a ton of times unless they blitz more than we have, where guys are running wide open, and that's Matt Paradis has done a fantastic job. I mean, Matt's done a great job as our center this year, making sure we're always on the same page. Our line's done a great job of protecting, but Teddy's running the show and making sure we're in the right play, the right protection. We motion, we shift, we check plays, we do all these things that not everyone does, and we do them because we have a quarterback who allows us to do them. And I think our ability to get in and out of the right plays, our ability to make up for negative plays or penalties is really impressive. And to almost to the point where I'm saying to our team, like, let's stop getting so many offensive penalties. Let's not be in 2nd and 20 and have to fight back. And I think that credit goes to Teddy. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks, smartest football people I've been around. And I had the good fortune to be around Eli Manning, and Teddy reminds me so much of Eli in terms of the way that he studies the game, the way that he plays the mental game, the way that, he understands the run game, he understands the protection game. He's a quarterback who on his own time goes and meets with the O-line coaches. He spends time with our O-line. He's just such a cerebral, intelligent football guy that it makes everyone around us better.
All right. We have time for one more quick one. So, Steven, do you want to ask your question?
Sure. Coach, the Panthers have really struggled with Calvin Ridley on the Falcons in the past, and he's had some of the best games of his career against Carolina. What have you seen from Ridley on film, and do you notice that when he plays the Panthers, does he have any extra edge to him at all?
I wouldn't know, his mindset playing the Panthers. I know he's a great player. I know he leads them right now with 9 explosive plays on the season. He's a deep ball threat who can also catch the ball in the intermediate and catch and run, catch the ball underneath. I mean, he's really a dominant player, and dominant players are going to make great plays. I don't spend a lot of time paying attention to the past. I study the past like you're asking me. I learn from it, but the mental, emotional, psychological parts of it, to me, don't affect us. We have to go out there and everyone on defense has to do their job, and they have to play really well. And we're going to play against their great players, and their great players are going to make plays. And we just have to keep playing and do our job and not try to do too much, and play with great eyes and play with great pad level and play with great discipline, play with great energy, and trust each other. And so if we do those things, we always give ourselves a chance to win. And like any other game, it'll come down, to the end of the game, and whoever makes one more play wins. But I can't tell you how impressed I am with Ridley. He's such a great player. He's fun to watch. That being said, I think we have great players too, and I trust our players to go out and play. And we'll go out and we'll play the game and play it one snap at a time and see what happens.
Coach, we appreciate it.
All right. Thanks.
Hey, Justin. We were talking to Phil Snow earlier today, and he said that you've been, making a lot of progress, especially in the last few weeks. Do you feel like anything in particular has started clicking for you within this defense?
I think we're clicking as a whole. I think me personally, I think I'm starting to learn the defense, starting to learn exactly what Coach Snow and Coach Rhule wants out of me. Just trying to play the game and play the game the way they want me to play. And I'm just trying to be better for this team, try to be better and make plays for this defense.
All right, let's go to Will Kunkel for the next question.
Hey, Justin, Will with Fox 46. Have you heard anybody talk about this game being a rivalry in the locker room or on the building? Do you think it's a rivalry? Because yesterday DJ said he didn't think so. Obviously, fans hate everybody.
I don't want to call it not a rivalry. I don't want to call it a rivalry. We're just trying to go 1-0. We're playing the Atlanta Falcons. We're treating it as, we're just playing another team this week. We know it's a divisional game. It's important, but every game's important. You get 16 chances to go out and play. And, we're just treating like 1 out of 16, trying to go out and get a win.
So with that said, though, when you were at the Jets or the Browns or Raiders, anybody, did you know when you were playing a rivalry, was it different that week?
I guess if I was with the Jets, playing the Patriots, that might have been, one. But in the NFL, it's hard. It's more the fans know about the rivalries and stuff. Got people that grew up around that team or around that city. Me growing up in North Carolina, yeah, I know a little bit more about Carolina and the Falcons. But once on this team, we're treating it as another game.
Thanks, man.
All right, let's go to Scott Fowler and then Skylar Callahan.
Hey, Justin. I wondered if you could tell me your opinion of where specifically the defense has gotten better in the last 2 weeks.
I just think we're running to the football, man. We're playing fast, we're playing physical, and the guys up front are really getting to the quarterback. And we're flying around. I think that's been a huge difference. I think that's been a huge emphasis, not just with the coaches, but, with the guys on the defense. Just going back and watching film and seeing guys flying around is contagious. You see a guy like Jeremy Chin running, flying to the ball. You want to be running, flying to the ball. You don't want a guy like that passing you up, going to get a tackle. So just seeing that and just seeing everybody running, seeing all the guys running, it's contagious.
Hey, Justin, Scott, Callan, Sports Illustrated. You guys are 7th in pass defense through the first 4 weeks. What do you see that attributes to that? And what have you seen from some of these younger guys like Jeremy Chin and some of the other guys, Troy Pride Jr.? And is their maturity level maybe a little bit further along than what most rookies are?
Yeah, you can definitely say that those guys are mature. Those guys are ready to play. They came in with the mindset that they wanted to contribute. And, I think our success comes from all 3 levels. You got, the D-line getting off and going to get the quarterback, affecting the quarterback. You got, guys in the middle that are, getting to the quarterback and covering. And then you got guys on the back end that are, giving the D-line time to get there. So I think it's a collective, and we're all doing our part to, have so much success.
All right, let's go to David Newton and then Jason Huber.
Justin, got 2 for you. One, how is Robbie Anderson different now than when you were playing with him with the Jets?
I really think Robbie's the same guy, man. You know, he's always been a cool dude. You know, obviously he has all those tweets and stuff, but you know, Robbie's always been a cool guy. Um, I guess he's got a little faster. You know, he's been working in the offseason to get faster. But that's about it, man. He's still the same guy, still working hard. Still guys gonna come in and go to work. So.
I mean, in terms of being more complete receiver, it seems like, and they use him to go deep. Here, they're using him for everything. It seems like.
Yeah, I think when he came in, he was that speed receiver, and he still has that. But I think he's able to go over the middle, do all the intermediate routes, and I think he's really honing in on becoming a complete receiver. And it's great to see his progress. And from when we both came in to now, he's really sharpened up his tools.
Thanks.
Hey Justin, this off season when we were getting ready for the season, you were talking about how this was a fresh start coming to Carolina, and one of the things that Phil Snow mentioned today was he really believes you're on your way to kind of becoming who you want to be in this league. I'm just kind of wondering, who is that? Who are you hoping to become in this league, and how do you feel this so far through 4 games things have been going for you here with the Panthers?
I'm still learning. I'm still learning on exactly. I know exactly where I want to be. I want to be one of the top safeties in this league. I want to be a box safety. I want to be a post safety. I want to be a guy that's going to cover. I want to be a guy that's going to run and hit. So I want to be complete. I want to be a complete safety. I think that's what I'm learning to do. Coming from corner, I had the coverage aspect. So now being in my second year as a safety, I'm trying to learn everything that goes into being a complete safety. So I'm still working on it, still learning, still trying to grow. But working every day to get that done.
All right, guys, we have time for 3 more. So let's go to Phil Orban and then Miles and finish with Elena.
Hey, Justin, we were talking with Matt about limiting explosive plays, which you guys have been pretty good at it. And he says it's one missed assignment or one missed tackle. How deflating is it when you're doing everything right, but maybe one piece is off and you give up a big play? How tough is that for a defense?
It's kind of a 2-part. I mean, we have a what's next mentality. If it's an explosive, we got to go down and play the next play. But also, we need everybody to be in their gap. We need everybody to be on their details and be in their gap or be over the top or whatever. Everybody needs to do their job. But when explosives are going to happen, it's the nature of the game. Those guys get paid too. But when it does happen, we need to get the ball down to be able to play again. And when we get there and we were able to play again, we need to let that last play go, and just be prepared to to shut the offense down going forward.
Justin, another thing that Matt Rhule's been talking about this week is red zone defense and the need to improve there. Just what is key to improving in red zone defense?
Just the want to, just having an attitude that they're not going to get in, whether it's throwing or passing. I'm sorry, throwing or running. We just got to have that mentality, got to have that mindset that, either my guy's not going to score, or I'm going to be in my gap. I'm going to, set the edge, whatever it is. We just got to have that mentality when they get down there. Do we want them to get down there? No, but once we get down there, we got to, have that physical mindset, have that mentality that they're not going to get in. Field goals are better than touchdowns. So we got to have that mentality.
Hey, Justin, I was wondering, with learning a new defense and a position you haven't traditionally played, is there a moment kind of when you felt comfortable back there? Like, is there a game or a play maybe that stands out to you, or is it something you're still kind of learning as the weeks go on?
I'm still learning as I go, but I'm definitely comfortable back there. At the end of the day, this is football. It's being assignment sound, running to the football, being physical, and making plays. Is it a new position? Am I a little bit farther back from the line of scrimmage than say at corner where I'm a little bit closer? Yes. But at the end of the day, it's football. So I'm trying to learn take all my techniques that I've learned at corner and all the new techniques that I'm learning at safety and just try to mesh them together and try to be a complete, hybrid safety, if you will, where who can cover and who can play the run. So I am comfortable back there. I'm just trying to learn every day and get better.
All right, Justin, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Just curious on your take on this. As far as the success between a quarterback and a wide receiver, how much of that is chemistry versus a guy just being able to get open? And then if you could talk about your experiences where you've had good chemistry with a wide receiver, and if that's been some things off the field that contributed to that.
I honestly think, it just comes with, hard work, but also just the flow of games sometimes. You see a guy out there who may get targeted 13 times and catch all 13, or he might catch 11 out of 13, and it just seems like everything is clicking. Sometimes it's just, you get hot and you feed the hot hand, but other times it's just, the work you put in on the field, it translates to the work you put in on the practice field transfer to the games. And, once you're out there in the games, it's just like practice. So when you get the opportunity to just have guys fly around and make plays, you just want to try to keep feeding them more and more.
And if I could, Teddy, just following up with that, are there any things off the field that also plays a role into that chemistry, whether it's been at a tape room or off the, out of the stadium type activities?
I mean, there's a lot of things that go unseen, that happens throughout the week. And most, the success that you have on Sundays, take place on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and, within the meeting rooms, just spending extra time, getting the feel, getting an understanding of concepts and, the areas we're trying to attack on different concepts and just knowing where to be. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot that goes unseen.
Let's go to Miles Simmons and then Joe Person.
Hey, Teddy, just wondering, how would you assess the way that you played in the first quarter of the season?
I mean, I really haven't done that. I just try to focus on, one game at a time and our next opponent. I'm pretty sure there'll come a time at the end of the year where I can look back and, assess everything. But right now, it's not really about, me. It's about this team. So I think we're sitting at 500 right now. You look at some of the games and you say, man, what if, or we could have this and that. But, that's not our focus right now. We can't control what happened in the past. We control our own destiny, and we want to just make sure that we understand that.
Teddy, Matt was saying that you go each week on your own and meet with the offensive line coaches. Is that something, how long have you done that? And what are those conversations like? And then if you would, tell us about the Miami Heat hat.
Well, that's something that actually I just started this year. Just, letting those guys hear what I'm thinking and hearing what those guys are thinking, so that when we get out there on the field on Sundays, we're all on the same page. So, it's been huge for us so far, just being able to communicate with each other throughout the course of the game. And, I think the guys really appreciate, when we all get together, the quarterbacks come in the room and talk. The running backs are in there hearing the quarterbacks and what we're thinking about in the pass game, protection-wise, run game also. My Miami Heat hat, I got to rep the hometown. So hopefully we can make a comeback and upset a lot of people.
Let's go to Will Kunkel and then Phil Orban.
Hey, Teddy, Will from Fox 46. Just a quick one first, following up on Joe's. Did you pick up that going to talk to the offensive line from like Drew Brees or anybody in the past, or just something you thought of?
Yeah, it was just something I thought of. We didn't do that much, when I was in New Orleans, but, everyone was on the same page. But, here in Charlotte and Carolina, just something that I thought, would be beneficial to everyone. We get out there on Sundays and, sometimes you're not on the same page because you never took the time to meet. So, for us, and it's good for, guys like Will Greer, PJ Walker, Trent Cannon, Mike Davis, those guys to hear, those things because, in this league, everything happens so fast. So for us to be able to just all get on one page and everyone from, the starters to the guys who aren't playing, for them to hear, that dialogue, that's just still a mental rush for them.
And then do you view this game with the Falcons as a rivalry? Is this a rivalry game to you or just a division, another game?
all of these games, man, is just the next opponent to me. Um, you want to respect your opponents and everything. And, to me, we play Atlanta this week and we're trying to go 1-0 this week. One thing I can say is that, I can tell what kind of game or what type of team we're going to face, because just 2 weeks ago we were the same team, trying to find a win in this league. So we have to understand that, those guys are fighting to find a win. And, last year, I was a part of something that happened last year that got Atlanta going, when they beat New Orleans and they got a nice streak going. So, just got to understand, man, that, this team is, fighting to find a win, and we can't go out there and just think they're going to hand it to us.
Thanks, man.
Hey, this may seem like a dumb question, but when you're not sacked in a game, are you aware of that in the moment, or is it something you look back? Like, is it the third quarter and you're like, man, like I haven't been sacked yet, or is it something that you look back on at the end of the game and realize? And then if you could just talk about your offensive line's play overall, despite being shuffled around.
Yeah, it's something that you just look back on at the end of the week, well, at the end of the game, I'm sorry. And you walk away like, man, I feel pretty good, or, I didn't really take any hits. And the guys up front, man, they've been playing, playing their ass off. But, with different guys coming in and just having to play, you talk about Greg, Chris Reed, those guys, man. Even Lars had to come in for a couple plays last year for Matt Paradis. And, it's just a group of guys who work extremely hard with, Big John and Timo. Those guys, man, I think for them, it means a lot to them to go out there and keep the quarterback clean and open up the run lanes for the runners. You watch them, they play with a ton of energy. When Reggie scored a touchdown last week, you see Big Boosie in the end zone dancing with them. You see guys making plays down the field. And, Chris Reed might be down there to pick them up, Ian Thomas. You see we scored a touchdown and Timo spiking the ball. We're still working on that, but, he's spiking the ball. So, those guys are having fun out there, and it means a lot to them.
Let's go to Sharon Thorslin and then Jason Huber.
Hey, Teddy, when you look at this Falcons defense, what do you see out of those guys? I know that they've had a lot of guys dinged up, getting some guys back in the secondary, though, this weekend, it looks like. So what have you seen out of them defensively? What kind of challenge do they pose?
I mean, honestly, it's a team that plays fast. They haven't, caught many lucky breaks, but, you put the tape on and they're flying around, man. You feel those guys, when you watch the tape. And, that's something that we're aware of. We got to be physical. And we got to bring our own energy. We can't let them come out and dictate the flow of the game. And we just got to be the more physical team. And hopefully, that'll slow them down as the game go on.
Hey, Teddy, we were just talking with Matt Rhule, and he said, he's praising your football IQ. And he said one of the guys that you remind him of that he's worked with is Eli Manning. I'm wondering first, and I know you've mentioned a bunch how, you want to be Teddy Bridgewater. That's, who you want to resemble, but what quarterbacks growing up did you kind of, follow and want to be like? And also, where did you get that football IQ and kind of that strive to learn always?
Growing up, I played a little wide receiver also. So, I wanted to be like Randy Moss and those guys who were, scoring touchdowns. But at the same time, I did watch, Donovan McNabb, Mike Vick, those guys, Steve McNair. And I just always told myself that, man, I like the way, those guys play the game. And when I was a wide receiver, I just always wanted to know, each position. So I wanted to know what the quarterback was thinking. So when I transitioned to playing quarterback, it was like second nature. By me playing wide receiver, I had a feel for coverages and things like that. And it just helped sharpen my IQ. When I was in high school, I used to have my wide receivers come over to the house on Thursday nights, and we would play, PlayStation, NCAA football, and we would just go over coverages and things like that. And little did I know that those were actual coverages, that I would see, years later. But and I think that right there might have helped my football IQ some. But honestly, I think for me, my biggest skill is just being able to react. And whatever you throw at me, I just consider myself a problem solver. So, a lot of the times I'm just reacting to what I see.
All right, guys, we only have time for 3 more, so let's go to Chris Jenkins and then David Newton and finish with Miles Simmons.
Hey, Teddy, I know when you ran last week, you said you didn't think about your body at all. It was just something that you did. So wondering, since, it's been a couple of days now, naturally you're going to go through your progressions, but once you get to a point where you can run the ball, do you feel like you're going to be, I guess, eager, if you will, to go ahead and do that, or more comfortable to do that?
Man, I just try to play in rhythm, try to play, you know, uh, in sync. I trust my feet, as I'm going through my progressions. If the primary is in there, that's my first hitch. Secondary guys in there, that's my second hitch. Third hitch is my check down. If, I'm getting the 4 hitches, then I'm testing protection and forcing our O-line to block even longer. So, I just trust my feet and go from there. It's not something, that I just drop back and say, hey, I'm just going to take off. But, as long as I play in rhythm, if I have to, escape the pocket, defenses do play great coverage sometimes. So, if nothing is there, I think, for me, it's either throw the ball away or try to get some yards. So, I won't let last week's, run, drive me to just think I'll take off. I'm still just going to play in rhythm and trust my feet.
David, you want to ask your question?
Oh, yeah. I'll make it simple. How are the Heat going to pull off this miracle?
With good faith. That's all we need, faith of a mustard seed. So, hopefully Coach Spo can get those guys going, UD, the OG, get those guys going, and they come out with a little attitude and try to shock the world.
It would be a shock.
Definitely, man. But, I'm just excited that, those guys made it this far. Hopefully they could pull off the upset. But, it's 2 great teams playing, and whoever wins, they deserve it.
All right, Miles, you want to finish up with the last question?
Sure. Thank you, Preston. Teddy, we were asking Matt Rhule a little bit about sustaining drives, and that's one thing that you guys as an offense has done pretty well this year. What do you think is the biggest key to being able to do that, and how much do you feel like your demeanor may play into that?
I mean, the crazy part about that is, you walk away from a Chargers game and you're hearing, oh man, you guys not converting on third downs. And then you play a Cardinals team, #1 in the league in third downs, and you have some success. It's like, oh man, you guys are sustaining drives. So it's like, man, it's so many ups and downs. But, at the end of the day, man, it's just understanding situations. I can tell you we are shooting ourselves in the foot. We have too many, negative plays on first and second down. We're getting false starts, on third downs and putting ourselves behind the sticks. But, some way, somehow we're figuring it out, and then converting on third downs. And I think, it's just a credit to, the offensive line protecting the pass catchers, running their routes and winning on third downs. And for me, it's just trying to stay even keel, understanding that, third down, some defenses will bring their pressures. Some defenses may just play it soft, and just understanding that, if it's 3rd and 17 and we can get 15 yards with the head coach that we have, you never know, we may go for it on 4th and 2. So just giving ourselves a chance, that's what it's all about. And I think we've done a good job of that so far.
All right, Teddy, we appreciate you taking the time.
No problem. Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, Taylor. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Just wondered, we've been talking to you for a while, kind of curious what your thoughts are with kind of the new COVID protocols and with everything that's gone on the last couple weeks. Are you still feeling safe and kind of good about where this season's going?
Yeah, I feel very safe. And ultimately, it's something that's really out of my control. All I can control is making sure that I'm doing the right things on and off the field and making sure I'm wearing my mask when I'm supposed to, keeping the distance that they're talking about, and just following the protocols. And from there, that's all I can control. So I don't see reason to worry about the rest of what's going on, around the league.
Let's go to Phil Orban and then Will Kunkel.
I was just asking Teddy about this and in game if he knows that he hasn't been sacked, and he said it's more something that he looks back on. As an offensive line, is that something that you guys are aware of? Like, hey, we're keeping the quarterback clean kind of at halftime or in the third quarter, or is that something that you also kind of look back and know you played well, but didn't necessarily realize you played as well as you did?
You mean like as the game's going on?
As the game's going on, midway through, are you saying like we're really playing? We haven't given up anything yet.
Well, for me personally, I don't like to just dwell back on how well we're doing during the game. I like to think about what's next, and if there are any bad plays, how to fix it. And then I've throughout the years like to have what's called a one snap and clear mentality. So I had a good rep or I had a bad rep. Either way, I learn from it and see what can I do better, or what's the next play, or what's going on during the game. And after the game, take a little bit of time to look back on how it went, look at the film, and then after that, it's just on to the next week, going 1-0 and whoever we're playing. So this week it's the Falcons.
And then if I could just how much pride do you guys take as a group when you do realize that Teddy hasn't been sacked and he hasn't really been hit that much either?
Oh, we take a lot of pride in it, but at the same time, we're never satisfied with it, and we find a way to get 1% better day in and day out, and just ask what's next. And ultimately, it's not just the offensive line; it's the whole team. It's the running back picking up the blitzes. It's the tight ends going out and pass protecting when they need to. It's the wide receivers and tight ends getting open. It's the quarterback and his pocket presence. So, it's a collective group, not just on all us.
Hey, Taylor, Will here with Fox 46. Been asking all the guys this. Do you view the Falcons as a rivalry game, or is it just the next game and it just means a little bit more maybe because it's in the division?
Ultimately, I understand it's a division game and historically a rival game, but at the end of the day, it's it's all about just the process and getting better and just going 1-0 this week. And we approach it like we approach it any other week. My practice, habits haven't changed this week. It's the same thing, just figuring out how I can get better and figuring out what these guys do good and what I need to do to improve and get 1% better.
Is there any extra juice in practice? Any extra talk about, we hate the Falcons, let's go kill the Falcons, anything like that?
No, it's just, business as usual, coming in and just trusting the process, getting better.
Thanks, man.
All right, let's go to Miles Simmons and then Joe Person.
Hey, Taylor, what have your just general impressions of Teddy Bridgewater been, especially now playing through the first quarter of the season? And what is his demeanor like when you guys are on a long, sustained drive?
He's a great guy, great player. It's been awesome getting to work with him and protect for him. And ultimately one of the smartest guys I've been around. And it's just been awesome being able to be out there with him. And as the drive's going on, he shows tremendous leadership skills and definitely someone that you want to play for and give it your all for.
If I may follow up just a little bit, I mean, what is it about the leadership skills? Because that's something that we hear a lot about Teddy, but what specifically is it?
It's just the way he manages the game, making sure that we're all in sync and making sure that we're all have the right energy and making sure we're all locked in at the task at hand. And I don't know. It's difficult to explain. You just got to be in the huddle with him, I guess.
Hey, Taylor, something similar to that. Teddy was telling us about Timo, Big Boosie, and all the nicknames he's got for you guys. It seems like he's really made a concerted effort to kind of bond with you guys. I think he goes and meets with your O-line coach every week. What's that been like, just kind of him, taking that effort and making that that concerted effort to do that.
No, it's awesome. And obviously, being in the NFL, we all have a job to do, and my job is to protect for him. But when you got a guy like that really cares about you and puts that extra effort in, just makes it so you really want to play for that guy and protect for that guy. And it's been awesome to see how much effort he's putting into gel with us, and I believe that we have really good chemistry up front, and I'm excited to just continue to build on it and figure out by trusting the process how we can get it even better.
What's your nickname for him?
Oh, I just been calling him Teddy B. Nothing too crazy.
All right, let's go to Elena and then Chris Jenkins.
Hey, Taylor, I was wondering, you're someone who was around Greg Little last year, obviously, as well. Is there anything particularly that you've noticed he's doing better this year, or an area you've seen him improve on, even if it's just off the field stuff now that's not his rookie season?
Yeah, I mean, I've just it's been awesome seeing him coming day in and day out, figuring out what he can do to get better at, and he's really buying into the process and seeing him just put in all the effort at getting better at pass protecting as well as run blocking, and it's awesome to see that come to fruition on Sundays.
Hey, Taylor, it's Chris Jenkins with Charlotte Vibe. Man, I haven't seen you in a while, so I want to say congratulations on the birth of Thomas.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Hey, what have been the pros and cons of, there's no fans out there, so what have been the pros and cons of communicating on that offensive line so far this season?
Well, at home games, it's generally quiet when we're on offense. That's how we like it. But away games, not having to go silent count and being able to hear all the calls from the center and the quarterback, obviously that's a really nice thing to be able to do at away games. And it'll be interesting to see how it goes as weeks go on and things may open up, may not. But ultimately, I guess the biggest difference is, away games, being able to hear and all that.
All right, guys, let's go to Mike Solarte for the last question.
Thanks very much. Hey, Taylor. I know you guys are process driven. You're one game at a time. Next opponent is the most important thing, but human nature would suggest that after 2 wins without arguably the most effective and efficient running back in the league, looking down the road when he returns, it's got to be like, wow, what can we really be when we add this guy back to the mix? Do you allow that thought to creep in, or do you just say, no, we got to go this week and we know we don't have Christian, and you go from there?
Yeah, it's definitely, more the latter. And, I think that Mike Davis, Reggie Bonifon, they've done a great job stepping in that role and doing what's asked of them. And, ultimately it's just me like I said earlier, just control what I control, making sure that whoever's back there, I'm blocking for him in the run game and opening up holes and doing my job to the best of my ability.
All right, Taylor, we appreciate you taking the time.
Appreciate you.